What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Moose Milk Podcast, episode 70. Episode 70. I'm your host, Ryan. Just waiting for Mr. Matthew to join us. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had a good week. What beautiful weather here. It's been like high 20s all week here, so really, really nice. Getting the summery warmth going on. It's awesome. Cut my lawn today, which I hate cutting my lawn, but you know it's beautiful weather when your grass is getting long. Anyway, this week we're going to talk a very classic movie for a lot of people that neither me or Matt had ever seen, which is Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So be prepared for that. If you haven't seen that classic, we will spoil it, but it's 41 years old, so we're not going to regret spoiling it for you. Here's Matthew. Maybe. There he is. Look at him.
I knew it was. I just thought because I know around my age, but 41. God damn.
I know it makes me feel so old, brother.
Hey, I get it.
When we're watching movies that are 41 years old that we haven't seen,
I know it is weird. It is weird.
Yeah. I'm shocked that you hadn't seen it.
I had some awesome back and forth with some of my followers who messaged me when they're like, "You haven't seen Indiana Jones?" Like, no, I haven't.
You're the only person I know that hasn't seen Indiana Jones like me, and like I got so much shit from so many people for so long for never having seen it, and it was just a movie that I was like, well, Harrison Ford is Han Solo. I'm never gonna watch this movie. Like he's Han Solo. Sorry. And yeah, like I remember going to like movie trivia with friends and stuff like that, and like Indiana Jones came up, and I'm like, I haven't seen it. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's, I don't know how that happened. But, to be honest with you, man, like, I missed a lot of stuff. Like, I didn't watch Star Wars until I was, like, 17 or 16, or, like, I was pretty...
really?
I was a lot older when I saw Star Wars. Like, again, like, it's similar to Indiana in that, like, I knew, it, like, through, like, satire and through, like,
sure, totally.
like Family Guy and Robot Chicken and, like, you kind of... Totally. So there's a lot of stuff in it that, like, we won't get into it right this second. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, I know this. I know how this plays out.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's obviously, like, a pivotal movie. But, yeah, I didn't know it from anything other than, satire or, like, other movies or snippets from other things or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I seen Star Wars, like, pretty young. Like, I would say I was, like, probably 9 or 10. But...
like, I saw Spaceballs before I saw Star Wars, which is probably why it didn't make sense to me at the time.
Yeah, I know I seen Spaceballs pretty young, but, like, it was in grade school for sure. I couldn't tell you when. It was somewhere around the same area, because I remember being blown away because my biological dad brought me to Blockbuster, and he's like, oh, we're going to get Star Wars, and I had never heard of it, and we rented it. And so I watched it and I like loved it. And he's like, okay, we'll go get the other two. And I'm like, what? Like, it just went like, there's 2 more. Holy shit. And I know the first time I had ever heard of it. So we rented both of those and then we watched those. But, it was just never an Indiana Jones, never crossed my path as a young person. Like, it was never there.
Yeah. Same here. So, but we're going to talk about that.
How are you? Yeah, we're going to talk about Indiana Jones and our thoughts and more, but how else are everything?
I'm doing okay. I had a busy week, and I like literally just walked in the door. We went out tonight for dinner with our friend Cam. It's Kate's old partner at work, the guy who did all my logo and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And it's the guy who I did that custom figure of him for the Bond Halo guy. So yeah, it's cool. We went out for dinner and had some drinks, and then I got to kind of walk him through the figure. And it's always nice when I can do that in person. I don't get to do that very often, but yeah, it's like the third commission I've done for somebody that I actually got to like show them in person. So that was kind of cool and fun. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Not just stuffing it in a box and shipping it away.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine because like I usually do like a handling video anyways, so it's like it's just better when I can like be in person and be like, all right, this is what you need to kind of watch out for. And, most of it's fine to handle, but there's just things you can do that will get a little bit more like time out of your paint job and stuff like that, right? So it's if you kind of know what to look for and like how to be mindful of it, you probably won't. There's a less chance of doing any damage to it. So I mean, they're like I said, they're pretty well covered, anyways. But
so I shouldn't grab my Lego and smash it on the floor.
You shouldn't do that. No.
Oh, okay. I need a safe handling video for that.
Don't put it in your mouth and you're like choking on it already. You're like eating a Lego figure, a minifigure.
See here.
Spider-Man tastes good.
Lee George from Seinfeld.
I referenced someone I work with as Kramer from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
He just like walked up to us the other day. We were in the hallway, we were all chatting, and he just walked up to us and like lost his train of thought. He like came into the group of 5 of us, and he was like, oh! And then he like just turned around and left, and we're like, what the fuck was that?
That's awesome. See, the problem is like all my references are like 90s sitcoms. So then when I actually like something happens at work and I'm like, oh, you remind me of whatever, they're like, I don't know who that is because they're fucking 12.
Bad Geek 52 says, "Wow, I just joined as you said. Spider-Man tastes good."
And that's the quote of the episode. Put that on the box.
That's the pull line.
Yeah.
That's funny. So yeah, my week was okay. It was just busy, and I'm trying to finish off my figures so I can start doing these shelves. So
yeah, how's the weather there? Is it nice?
Nah, it's dog shit. It's been raining for
really?
the last 2 weeks probably. We've had a couple like nice glimmers of days, but yeah, it's been pretty shitty, dude, for the most part.
It's like fucking summer here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know. I heard. Nice.
It's like 30 degrees every day. Fucking shorts, t-shirt, beautiful, sunny. I'm walking my dog.
It's still too cold to wear shorts here. Like right now, it's 8 degrees here. So,
oh fuck no,
pretty cool.
My friend Tanya in the chat, Puffins.
Puffins.
She's the weirdest girl I've ever met. We were at a movie and she started like spouting off puffin facts because one of the ads before the fucking movie showed a puffin. I had never even heard of what a fucking puffin was.
It's like a bird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bird. She loves them for some reason. I mean, I guess they're cool looking, but they are still a bird. But yeah, so she started spouting off puffin facts, and that's just been like an ongoing joke between us forever as puffins.
It's funny that you're saying that because Kate just joined us, and when we were at dinner, we were talking about before Cam got there. We were trying to figure out like what to do for vacation because we were going to go to Amsterdam, and when we started looking at prices, she's like, it's like super expensive to travel. See, she just said, hey, we were talking about puffins today. That's where I was going. That's what I was just going to say. So then we said we were going to go to Newfoundland instead, and then she says she started looking up things to do, and she's like, oh, there's like a puffin like nesting thing or something there, and she's like, we should go and watch that or whatever. So that's hilarious.
Women, man, they're odd. They're odd. I don't know. I don't dig on birds. I don't dig on birds.
Puffin season. That's funny. That's
yeah.
Great. So I
lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I don't know. Get on our level. Yeah, no. I'm incapable of getting on your level. I swear. No, it was fine. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I destroyed my bike, so I had to finally crack down and actually figure out what I was going to do with my bike.
Is that why you bought? I didn't know you destroyed your bike. What happened there?
Yeah, the entire back tire gave out. I fucking broke like half the spokes on the back tire. So.
Oh no, that's not good.
It was like, all right, well, I either have to go buy like another normal bike and maybe it won't last, maybe it will last. Like, I don't know. For people that don't know, I don't drive, so I get everywhere on a bike. And yeah, so I was like, I have to either go buy another normal bike or I have to actually like crack down and spend a fortune on a fucking like real fucking good bike. And just like a normal bike now is like $600-700. Like they're fucking pricey as shit. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna fucking spend the money and actually get like a fucking good bike. So I did that, but yeah.
Nice. So when do you get it?
I said up to 3 weeks shipping time because it ships from it ships from BC.
Okay.
So hopefully it's not as long as they're saying it is, but who knows?
Yeah, things move across the country pretty quick. So
yeah. So I don't know. Other than that, it was all right. I mean, like I said, the weather's really nice. Watched a lot of shit this week.
Did you? Nice.
Going to a concert tomorrow night, so that's cool. First concert back from COVID.
What are you seeing?
Mother.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. Playing in London, so should be good.
Oh yeah, London. Right. That would be nice. It's a small venue too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 1,500 people, I think. So
nice. That's good.
It's really small. That's where I'm seeing Metric too in August.
Nice. Metric would be fun to see.
Oh, they're so good. I love them.
Yeah,
I've seen them twice. They're really good.
What'd you think of that new My Chemical Romance song?
It's okay. It reminded me really of like a lot of early My Chem, like
first album,
first or second album style, more than like their latter two. But it was okay. I don't know. It didn't really blow me out of the water or anything. But I actually kind of find like a lot of their singles are like their weakest songs on the album. So
that's fair.
I'm interested to see how it fits. Like they always do like really big like concepts. Well, at least the last two were huge concept albums. So I'm very curious how like it will fit in with the rest of the album. But I didn't talk about last week either, but Arcade Fire put out a new album. I don't know if I did talk about it or not, but it's okay. I've been listening to it a lot. It's their 6th album. I'm a huge Arcade Fire fan. I think it's probably their weakest album overall, but it's still good. It's still a good art. It's Arcade Fire.
Has more of it like kind of have you kind of come around to more of it yet?
There's tracks that are great on it, but like there's one track that's like literally 9 minutes long, so and it's only a 40-minute album, so it's not like there's like a ton to like separate it from. But
sure,
it's fine, but it's just I find like it has the same basic like elements of all their music is like very much like end of a kingdom, like US is crumbling, like the world and like consumerism and materialism, and like they hit on the same touchstones in all their music. And like it's just at this point I'm like I feel like we've already heard this album in their other albums. Like it's not anything that's new, or they just need a new concept. They need to kind of push their music forward.
Shake it up a bit.
But it's okay.
That's fair. All right, that's cool.
But yeah, I'm still watching a bunch of shit. I'm still digging into X-Files and still fucking watching Survivor.
How far are you into X-Files now?
I'm like almost done season 6. I think I'm like halfway done or 3/4 done. I haven't watched a ton this week of X-Files. I've been watching other shit. So, but yeah, I'm somewhere in season 6. I had to watch the X-Files movie because that falls in between 5 and 6, which is really weird. Okay. It's a side topic, but like, what kind of show has a fucking movie that went to theaters that ties in directly to the plot of the show between seasons?
That is
like
weird.
It's super weird. And if you had not seen the show and went to the movie, you'd be fucking uber confused.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like directly tied to the plot of the show.
That's so weird. That's super.
It's very weird. Yeah, and it's like
a weird plot to try to get people to watch the show.
Yeah, but like, if you went to the movies and seen that without seeing the show, you would never go back to the show. It'd be like, oh yeah, it was like fucking 1997. Like you didn't have streaming services to pick up the show.
Totally. Good point. Didn't even think about that.
So very bizarre. Like I couldn't. I was like, other than Breaking Bad, which got like a direct to Netflix movie like post the show ending, but there's not many movies that are spun off from shows that are directly like. I mean, like The Simpsons got a movie, but it wasn't like directly tied to the plot.
Especially of that era, like you said, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, in order for you to understand this, you need to see these specific seasons, but
totally,
you have to wait for them to come back on replay because there's nowhere that you can like stream it or.
Yeah. You find the VHS tapes of fucking, the entire season of X-Files. Like you'd have like 38 tapes.
Yep. True.
Anyway, I found that very bizarre, but I'm still watching X-Files. Better Call Saul, still really, really good. Survivor's really good.
Are those weekly episodes? Yeah. Better Call Saul,
yeah. The spinoff of Letterkenny came out today on Crave for Canadians. I don't know where you get it in the States, but it's called Shorzy, which is a character from Letterkenny. I found it very, very funny. I recommend it if you dig Letterkenny. Fucking what else? The Circle came back on Netflix. I'm watching that. And
is The Circle that social media show where they just stay in a room and go on their phones?
Yeah. Well, it's not phones. It's television.
I know, but yeah.
Listen, I know you didn't dig it, but like it actually is a really creative fucking way of like having a reality show spun out of social media, and like I don't know, I don't know, I like it a lot, and it's funny, and there's a twist this season that I really thought was pretty creative and interesting. I don't want to spoil it because but
you never know. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. I can't think of anything.
I definitely shouldn't be the gauge on that because I don't really watch reality TV. I find most of it is like kind of silly.
I'm an addict.
And then I'm just like, I'm already like, I don't know, like I'm tethered to my phone because of my hobby. So it's like,
who are you to judge?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, seriously.
Just joking. I also forgot. Challenge came back. Challenge All Stars is back on Paramount Plus, so I'm watching that too. Another reality show.
Entertainment.
Yeah, well, I'm a reality show fucking addict, so I can't help it. Did you watch anything?
I didn't watch a ton, but I did watch a little. I got another 2. I'm on the last episode of season 14 of Sunny. I have the season finale of the second last season I have to catch, and then I'm on the last season.
Nice.
I watched Indiana Jones twice, and I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife kind of just in the background while I was working on some stuff. So,
I was gonna say, did you see it? But we did a whole fucking episode on it.
Yeah, we did an episode. Yeah. But I watched it because I could, so I was just like, oh, cool, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, I want to pick it up eventually because I want to watch it again. But
I bought it. I digitally bought it because like I like it. So and it's like
it's good.
Yeah. I have the other 2 Ghostbusters, so I was like, I'm gonna get this too. But,
I hear you.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it was just like my usual stuff. I did a live stream on Wednesday night, and instead of customizing, it was more like an interview, kind of more like really an interview. It wasn't like Barbara Walters or anything like that. It was more like. It was more just like it was like this, right? We're just shooting the shit, and like I had questions to ask, but like conversation spun off from them. So
I wish you would have got a little gray wig.
I'm Barbara Walters, and this is 20 minutes, 60 minutes, not 20 minutes.
2020,
2020. That's the one I was trying to figure it out. It's not 20 minutes.
20 and 60 minutes.
It's not 60. What up, Casper?
What's going on?
So I did that, and then last night was the usual Thursday night toy shows. So Toying Around had his 100th episode yesterday, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, so they all he has like this little group he calls the Enablers, and it's like his friends, and they have like this system. Whenever they enable one of the other people to like pick something up, they get points for it, and they have like a little point system. That's pretty funny. So,
that's great.
So he had episode 100 yesterday, and they all wore like suit jacket. He wore like a tux.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was pretty funny with jean shorts. But yeah, it was
way to do it.
It was good, man. It was cool. It was cool to see him get so much love, and he's like a Canadian, so it's like it's cool to see that too, right? And,
yeah, of course.
And then I watched Toy Migos right after, and then when I was finished, he was still streaming, so he went for like 4.5 hours yesterday. Crazy.
Fucking marathon there.
Yep, pretty much. And then what else? That's mostly it. Oh, I rewatched I meant to actually bring it up the first week I watched it, but I actually sat down and like watched it without like interrupt. Like I've watched this video 3 times since May 4th. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long, but this was the first week where I actually sat down and like paid attention fully to it. It's Star Wars Explained. They're like a YouTube channel that talks all about Star Wars. And every year on May the 4th, he updates the Star Wars timeline. And it's like a video that basically does like a chronological look at the whole Star Wars universe, movies, cartoons, comics, anything that's considered canon from
Right.
the early High Republic era to, after Episode 9. And yeah, it's so fucking cool. Every year he updates it with like what happened the year prior. So like this year had a bunch of stuff from Book of Boba Fett, and it had a bunch of stuff that happened in the comics.
Is it the same video and then he just adds on to it, or is it like a brand new video every year?
No, I mean, it is a brand new video because he basically just builds upon it. I think things do change, like if it's relevant, like if something is like, he changes it where it's needed to, but whatever he can reuse, he does reuse. But yeah, it's been like, I've been watching it for probably 4 or 5 years now, and it's awesome. It's so fun, and it's like, it's good. It would be good for someone like you who like, you get a better understanding of where all these characters are coming from and where they showed up in the past without really having to commit to anything. It's just like an hour-long watch, and it's really interesting. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff that gets built upon in the comics that like really elevates the story of the 3 original movies. So like getting to have all that information and then getting to go in and watching those original 3 again, like it's a lot of fun, man. That you can come away with like a ton of new information. So I definitely recommend it.
I should definitely give it a watch.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Honestly, it's great. That whole channel is awesome, but like I look forward to that video every year. He puts it out every May 4th. So
I think I follow them on YouTube. Is that the one where they also build like a lot of Lego stuff together, like him and his wife or whatever?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I follow them on YouTube. I haven't watched. I've watched a few of their Lego builds and stuff, but yeah, I haven't seen that video, so I'll have to check it out.
It's from a couple weeks back now, but it's definitely worth the watch. It's really fun. It leaves me like just craving more Star Wars. Like I'm just like, oh, buddy.
2 weeks, man.
So, I'm gonna actually do. It's on my radar right now as well. I have a couple things that like I need to get to. Like I just need to put some time aside and do Peacemaker.
That's a geriatric version of Peacemaker.
Oh,
that's when he's 90.
This week I'm gonna have a jammer. Time for DC's Pacemaker.
He's got the IV walking down the hall with him.
That's great. I still need to get to Peacemaker, and I really want to watch Ozark. I'm kind of having that craving to watch Ozark because I only saw the first episode, and now I really want to watch that new Mike Myers show on Netflix. Our friend we were out with tonight was talking about it, and he said it was pretty funny. You didn't like it, or did you watch it?
I haven't watched it, but I've heard it was really bad.
Oh, I heard it's really good social commentary on modern politics, and I'm like, I could be into that. And
I would give it a chance, but like I think you'll like it more than I did because you like the Love Guru and stuff like that. Like you're a big Mike Myers fan.
I honestly think I just like Mike Myers. I think his characters are great. So yeah.
Oh, my friend Connie just finished it today.
She finished it today. Fire.
You liked it?
Clearly, dog. She said fire.
Well, fire could be put it on fire because it was so awful.
Lots of dick jokes. There you go. See, this is right up your alley.
Right up our alley.
It's good.
I'll have to give it a watch then.
I think me and Kate are going to watch it. I think Cam convinced Kate that it might be something she'd be into, which is good. That means I don't have to do that. So
totally. There's rumors going around that he's going to do Austin Powers now.
That'd be amazing. Sign me
Bring
up.
it back. Yeah.
Yep. I'll take them all. I like gold.
Ozark, yeah. Ozark's great. No spoilers, obviously, because Matt hasn't seen it, but yeah, it's a quick watch. It's not that. I mean, I think it's 10 episodes a season, maybe. I don't know, but
yeah, and it's
only 4 seasons.
4 seasons.
But like the last season was broken into 2 halves.
14 episodes or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 7 and 7. I think. But.
So yeah, so that one's pretty on my radar right now. It's something I want to watch as well. But another thing I want to like revisit is I'm going to rewatch Star Wars Rebels, and I'm gonna do a curated list of something for you to watch to get a feel for it, so you don't have to actually like commit to the show.
All right.
There's great content there, dude. It's great,
It's
great.
just,
The best.
it's animated. It is so. I'm not 5.
Dude,
I can't get into animated shit.
The
It's
last
like
season is like, there's one part where like, man, like I fucking bawled my eyes out on near the end. Oh my god, so sad.
for anybody that doesn't know, so this week, obviously, we're talking Indiana Jones. We're trying to come up with ideas for what to do in these next 2 episodes, and because there's no Marvel movies, there's no show going on right now, Star Wars show, nerdy show, whatever. So we have 2 weeks before Obi-Wan comes out. And so we came up with the idea of watching movies that neither of us had seen, or recommending a movie to each other that one of us hadn't seen that the other one really likes. And so for Matt, it's a lot harder for Matt to recommend something for me because we've seen a lot of the same movies, and I've seen a lot more probably movies than he has.
A good chunk of the movies that I love are because of you, so it's like
right.
It's hard.
We've been friends for a very long time, and we recommend each other shit all the time. So it's like a lot of the stuff that we've, in the last 20 years we've seen together or recommended to each other or whatever. So there's a very, very difficult thing to come up with. But of course, his choice for me to watch next week is Toy Story 4, which I haven't seen, which is animated, which I don't know how much I'm going to dig, but I don't mind the Toy Story movies, but yeah, it's definitely going to make me cry, I assume. But
yeah, it's going to make you cry. I still think 3 was sadder than 4, but 4 is still sad.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then for him, he's going to watch Wonder Woman.
I'm going to watch that other one too if I have time. What's the other one called again?
Fuck.
Something Wild or something?
Into the Wild.
Into the Wild.
Yeah, Into the Wild is really good. It's a
What's
really,
Into
really.
the Wild again? Wait a second. Is Into the Wild? Who's in it?
What's his
name?
name?
That funny movie with Seth Green, is it?
No. It's like a drama adventure kind of, directed by Sean Penn. It's based off of. Will you stop barking at me? Hold on. Running away. It's based off a real story. Like it was adapted from a book, an autobiography, but I guess they changed a few things. Tanya, who hasn't seen Into the Wild. Yeah, it's a really, really good movie. It's based off a real story, but I think he changed a few elements of it. But one of my favorite movies is definitely up there. Neil Hirsch is the main character in it, but fucking Vince Vaughn's in it too.
Oh, nice. I love Vince Vaughn.
Hold on.
Oh, Finnegan, always barking away. Yeah, so I'm gonna watch Wonder Woman for sure because I've never seen Wonder Woman. And then I'm going to hopefully have time to watch Into the Wild as well. So,
well, if you don't get time for both, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's on my radar because you recommended it. So, like,
yeah, of course.
We have a lot of similarity. There's a couple things on your list that you gave me that like I wanted to watch, even though I've seen them. It's just like I don't really remember them that well. So it's like,
sure.
Like I've been meaning to rewatch Cabin in the Woods because like I remembered watching it and not loving it, but I feel like there's so many things about it that I read and I'm like I feel like I should like this. So
yeah, it's so good, man. It's one of my favorite horror films ever made for sure.
Yeah, I know it's in your top. When we did top favorite movies that weren't superhero movies, it was in there for you. So
yeah. Should we dive into Raiders?
We can dive into Indiana Jones. Yeah.
So what did you think?
Okay, I'll start. Yeah, so like I think we're gonna get a lot of hate here because
we're gonna get a ton of hate.
It's pretty funny because it's like when I posted my story, I had a few people message me and they're like, "Oh, I hope you loved it," and I just give them the emoji. You know, I feel like it's one of those things. It was definitely a product of its time, and like I feel like that's one of those things where like nostalgia really saves it. Because as somebody who has no nostalgia for Indiana Jones, I found it played like a 3-hour movie, but it was short. So it's like it felt long, and I'm like, dude, how long is this movie? And I'm like, fucking hour and 40 minutes. That's it. Like it feels so long. Like I feel like they could have ended it at like the hour mark, but they're like, yeah, let's just keep going. It's like
exact same as me. I looked at my watch so many times, and then I actually paused the movie to get up and pee. And I looked and I was like, I'm only an hour into this fucking thing. Like I felt like I've been sitting here for 3.5 hours. Like this is the longest movie I've ever.
Like when they find the ark, the ark, yeah. Like they could have wrapped there. Like I felt like it didn't need to keep going. Like
no,
but I don't know. I mean, like here's the thing: the first viewing I watched it on, like I was tired, so I was a little drowsy. So I was like, you know what? I can't really shit on this thing if I really didn't fully commit to it. So I ended up watching it for a second time because I'm like, maybe I just like missed something. Like when I'm in that state, I tend to miss details. So it's like maybe I just missed a couple things that, you know, really take it up a notch and elevate it to a different level. But even on the second rewatch, I'm just like, good Lord, this is just long and unnecessary and just
tedious. And
that's not to say there aren't things that are cool about it. There are definitely some cool things in it. Like even the like heads exploding there at the end and like like man, some of that stuff was like pretty cool for its time, but like it's not enough to save it for like, you know, like we were talking about earlier in the week when we kind of decided that that's what we were going to watch. Like, yeah, maybe we're going to watch that, and then after that we'll watch 2 and 3 or whatever. And then we started talking after we had watched it. I'm like, I don't see myself watching 2 or 3. I don't think I can commit to that. So.
I'll give them a shot. I'll try watching the second one. I heard the second one's actually a lot darker, and it got a lot of kind of negative press about it because of how much darker it was than the first one, which is actually appealing to me.
Interesting.
But yeah, there's elements of this movie that like obviously are super compelling, and like, you know, Harrison Ford is always, you know, yeah, like, you know, he's great and he's a great actor and he's fun, and you know, he's the heart of the movie for sure. Like without him, I don't think the movie would have went anywhere. But if I would have watched this movie in 1981, maybe I would have had a lot of love for what's going on in it and nostalgia watching it now. Yep. But there was nothing about this movie that like really I was like, yes, this deserved 3 sequels. Like,
yes, I agree.
I don't know how it got a second movie. Like it is boring as shit for a large majority of the movie.
But it did make me question like how much of my love for old movies are actually because they're good movies or because they're just in the right place at the right time in my life that it worked for me, right? It's like it totally reminded me of The Goods in the sense that you showed me The Goods. You showed me that, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody who doesn't know, The Goods is like a C-list comedy movie starring Jeremy Piven. I don't know his name. Piven. And he's like a renegade car salesman. It's fucking weird. And like I love it. And then I showed Kate, and Kate actually loves it. And then I think we've shown it to like her parents and maybe another friend. And everyone just looks at us like, this is not funny.
It's so funny.
But we think it's fucking hilarious. We love it. We think it's great, right? It's even like Empire Records too, right? Like we made her parents. We always watch Empire Records on Rex Manning Day. That coincides with the movie, and we watched it with her parents on Rex Manning Day, and they were like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah, I don't know. Like, so obviously, like my views on '80s movies are tainted because all the '80s movies I know I've seen as like a younger person. So
yeah,
like stuff like Ghostbusters and Die Hard and, you know, all the horror of the '80s, like, these are all movies, and Star Wars especially, like, are all movies I've seen as like, either like a young, 8, 9, 10-year-old or like in my early teens. So in my head, I'm going, well, no, these are way better made films, but maybe that is tainted by nostalgia and it's hard to separate that. Like, I don't know. How could you know? But if you showed somebody like a kid today, Star Wars from, the original, would they enjoy it, or is it dated? Like, is it long and boring for a kid? Like, I don't know.
Well, see, I think that probably is the case, because if you actually look at the crowd of Star Wars the people that grew up with the prequels think that the prequels are the best, and it's like, dude, they're not. Like, it's
no, they're bad.
Them. They're not. But it's like, again, then, it's playing to a different crowd, right? And when George Lucas made the sequels, he had to keep in mind that he was still trying to sell toys to kids.
Yeah.
But it's like he's also trying to entertain the people who have been with him since the beginning, right? So, you know, I can understand why that group was so divided when those movies came out. Like, I remember after episode 1, I remember like the hype leading up to episode 1, and they were doing like, you know, bi-weekly, like behind the scenes things online. Yeah. That was like kind of the dawn of like, you know, modern day internet, where you could like go to a webpage and read an article every week about like filming and the whatever and the behind the scenes shit.
Pepsi had all the characters on individual cans, and I remember going to the stores to try to collect them all
of them.
And like I was so excited to see all these new characters, and then like 96% of them didn't matter anyway. But you know,
but that's, I mean, in fairness, that is literally that's the Star Wars lore. Like, they're notorious for taking a nothing and giving it a story, right? It's like all those background characters, they all have names, they all have histories, they all have stories. Just because they don't say anything about them, they all still have it. Like, it's,
but when I seen Star Wars in whatever it was, 1993, by then there was so much extra canon around it that, like, you know, these characters had been built out a little bit more, where like, you know, when you get the original, you know, Pepsi can that has a picture of fucking, I don't know, fucking
Bail Organa.
I can't think of it. Yeah, somebody random from, you know, it's like, who the hell is this character? And you're hoping that they have some badass story, and then they end up being in the movie for,
like,
you know,
one line, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, like, I just think of like Die Hard and stuff like that, where I'm like, Die Hard is fucking a far superior movie to this. Like,
but see, Die Hard's another good example of that, right? Because like, for me, I don't have an attachment to Die Hard from being a kid. I remember seeing it as a kid, but like, I rewatched Die Hard for the like first time in like 25 years, like 3 years ago probably, and I was like, this is fucking great. This is awesome.
Oh, so good.
Like, that's a movie that, like, to me, like, nostalgia doesn't have to win because the movie takes care of it. Like, it's good. The movie's good enough that I'm engaged, right?
That's what I mean, though, is like, I don't think Die Hard is tied to nostalgia for me. I think Die Hard's just a very, very well done, good made movie.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'm like, I wouldn't recommend it to somebody. I wouldn't watch it again. Like, there was nothing about it that really was like, oh man, like, this scene here is like, you know, it was made well for its time, but it's like, you know, now it's like, fuck, it's so dated. It looks super cheesy and poorly made. Like, it's important for cinema history, and it's spiraled off into inspiring, you know, a lot of young directors probably, or, you know, modern directors, and like special effects through the 80s and like all that kind of stuff. But like, watching it now without that nostalgia tied to it, I'm like, this movie sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of movies are products of their time in that sense. It's just like, they're, you know, you have to have fond memories to go along with them, and that's kind of what makes them heartwarming, is like, you're taken back to that time, those simpler times, right? Where you're, you know, your biggest worry is getting a good seat for the movie and making sure you've got popcorn while you sit your ass down to watch it, right? Like,
yeah, but like, even like Terminator, man, like Terminator is a way more compelling movie to me. Or, like, I know you disagree with me, but Back to the Future, like, I think the first Back to the Future movie is like way superior made movie than this, and it's like right in the same era. So
yeah,
I don't know.
That's another one for me too, where it's like, I never watched Back to the Future when I was a kid and younger, and I watched right when the pandemic started. Kate's boss, he like gave her this big list of movies, because there's a lot of like old movies that Kate hasn't seen, and he gave her like a ton of like classics and was like, you should watch these because like they're like classic cinema, and like they like basically changed the game, right? And so he gave her this huge list, and we watched a bunch of them, and some of them she liked, but some of them she like hated. Like, we got to watch Alien, and I was like so excited to watch Alien, and she's like, this fucking sucks. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is fucking amazing. It's so good.
It's a masterclass in building suspense.
Totally. So yeah, I think it kind of just depends, right? I think everybody kind of, it kind of depends what you're into and the kind of shit you generally like. But yeah, Back to the Future was another one for me that I just like. I don't know, like it didn't do anything for me. I was just like, this is what everyone loves, really. I mean, whatever, but I mean,
I can agree with you that there's like plot elements of Back to the
and just like.
Well, I think Back to the Future is a very weird movie. Like, it's definitely of its time in the fact that like there's a lot of elements of that movie I don't think really like work now if you were to do them presently. But I don't know, like it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the sequel too, and a lot of people don't like the second one, but I think the second one's like just as good as the first one. But the third one, I personally hate. I can't stand the third one, but it's a movie I wish they would have been able to actually do like a fourth movie too, and obviously they never probably will with Michael J. Fox having Parkinson's or whatever. But I don't know. I there's a lot of 80s movies I love and I think are just so much better made than superior in every way than this movie. But Harrison Ford's good.
Yeah, Harrison Ford's great.
That's my
fault. Denying that. Harrison Ford is good. And what's the girl's name there? She's pretty good too. I don't know who the actor is, but
Marion.
Her character was pretty cool too. So
she's fine. She's not in the sequels apparently, so I found that weird. But, yeah,
interesting.
She only was in the first one, but
gotta change them up. That's part of Harrison's contract.
Yeah, I need a new ladies
every time.
Yeah. But like even like I don't know, like some of the action scenes, like I don't know, the best parts of the movie were right at the beginning to me. Like
yes, I agree.
Like the traps as he's trying to get. Yeah, and then the boulder rolling down, like those are all the scenes that really stood out to me from like, pop culture references and whatever.
I was just gonna say, how much of it is because of that, right? Is like,
well, it is
all the stuff that stands out in my mind is the stuff that I've seen played out in different forms of media over the past 40 years. So, the swapping the statue with the bag and the boulder running and the spear things coming out and the.
It's right out of Guardians of the Galaxy when he's first stealing the it's like obviously inspired by that.
Yeah, totally.
But like I don't know, to me I just Steven Spielberg's such a good director, and like there's so many Steven Spielberg movies I love, and the fact that he directed this and I hated it, I was just really surprised by it. I was just like, this is his worst movie that I've seen.
I won't lie, as I was watching it, because I watched it Tuesday night, and as I was watching it, I'm like, Ryan's going to hate this. I know he's going to hate this.
I had a hard time getting through.
And then you messaged me Thursday or Wednesday, I can't remember, and you're like, wow, this movie's really bad. I'm like,
it's really bad.
Dude, we watched it. It was bad. So, but it's funny because it's like, even going back to like the nostalgic piece, right? It's like, it works in the opposite way sometimes too. Like I remember as a kid, I loved Ghostbusters 2. I love Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze. And like I came back and watched both of those over the last couple of years, and like I'm like, these are both bad movies. They're both really bad. Like they're not saying that there's not good parts to them, but like I'd say as a whole, especially compared to their original film for both franchises, Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles, I'm like, these are not good movies. Like they're not good representations of the characters. They're just like thrown. It's like thrown together to make money. That's what it reminded me of. It's just like
cash grab. Totally. I mean,
total cash grab.
Secret of the Ooze, I think, like as a kid, it is a kid's movie. Like it's very cartoony, and that's probably why as children we loved it so much. But it leans way heavier into comedy and like the cartooniness of the characters. But the first like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is like so like kind of gritty and like adult.
It's dark.
It's dark and like it's a really good movie.
It's a great mix. Ninja Turtles 1 is a great mix of the Mirage comics and the cartoon. Yeah. It's like they did a great job at blending those two things, which is so weird because they are so diametrically different from one another. But it just works. But then the second one, they upped the goofiness and took away the violence, and I'm like I see what you're trying to do. But, we don't even talk about the third one.
But there's elements of the third one I love, and it's all Casey Jones.
It's weird that Casey Jones came back for that, but they didn't have him back for the second one.
Yeah, well, it is
Like, I
super
know
weird that it's not the
Judith
second one.
I know Judith Hogue left, the girl who played April in the first movie,
Yeah.
because of the violence. Like, I know she didn't
Right.
like how violent the first one was, so she left. But
Right, but you would think that Casey Jones would have been in the second one because he was such a pivotal character in the first. And then the third one, they bring him back, and all he does is teach hockey to the Asian men that go through time back for the Turtles. And that was why I loved it so much, is because I was such a huge hockey fan, and I loved Casey Jones, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, like, this is awesome. But he didn't do anything in the entire movie, like, at all.
That's funny. Hello, easy to read names. Bazinga, he says.
Indeed. But yeah, I there's a lot of movies that the sequels you could tell were just cash grabs, and like, I don't, obviously we didn't watch the second Indiana Jones movie, so it's hard to say. I know it made a lot of money and it was well received, the first one, so I guess at this time they're like, hell yeah, greenlight the second one, like, let's go. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm surprised that it got as many sequels as it did, because it doesn't warrant them, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I only watched it twice, and it didn't do it for me. It didn't.
No.
It didn't inspire me to want to watch more. That's for sure. Like, I'm good.
I mean, its budget was only $20 million, so I guess it's good for that. Like, it was cheaply made. I mean, $20 million in 1981 is a lot more money, but
yeah.
I mean, that's a small budget movie considering, stuff we're seeing now at, $200-300 million. But
yeah. I don't know. It was what it was. It is what it is. Yeah. I didn't care for it. It didn't do anything for me. And it's like, yeah, after I talked to a few people today, after I posted my story, I'm just like, oh boy, this is going to be an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, no. I fully expected upon watching it that I was like, oh yeah, we're going to get a lot of hate on that one.
We're
but
get blasted, yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I didn't enjoy it in any way.
We're talking about Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, no, it's weird that we both didn't see it. It's definitely of its time, and I can't believe they're making a fifth one, and Harrison Ford is literally 90 years old, so.
That's weird.
I don't know how old he actually is, but he's 80 years old, so.
He's up there.
I don't know. I don't know how.
Easy to read.
I don't know how they're doing about Cringe movies. So.
Yeah.
Cringe he doesn't like the movie, or is Cringe is he hates our fucking opinions on the movie?
Nah, I think he doesn't like the movie. That's what I'm feeling. But
yeah, do kids like Indiana Jones?
You guys fucking suck. What's that?
Do like kids today like Indiana Jones? Like, is there a strong contingent of people that are like, hell yeah, give us a fifth Indiana Jones movie? Can't wait for that.
The thing is they'll probably just like gender swap it and like.
Well, I know like
more modern.
The fourth one introduced like his son basically as like he was like bringing in his son who was I can't remember who fucking played him now, but I don't know. I think fans like didn't really like the fourth one. I think it got a lot of hate. Okay. So I know Steven Spielberg's not directing the fifth one. This is the first one that he's not directing, but.
So Steven Spielberg directed the fourth one too? I didn't even know there was a fourth one. Ryan had to tell me there was a fourth one. I didn't even know there was.
Yeah, he directed all the first four movies.
Crazy. Yeah.
Indiana Jones dies by heroically sacrificing himself by crashing his helicopter into the villain's base. Yeah, well, that's Harrison Ford. That's not Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I
think.
What
else would you say?
I think that
we didn't like it.
Hype plays a lot into success of movies, right? And it's like that just shows you that like with hype you can put through some movies that maybe aren't of the best quality, but if you've got enough people rallying behind it, you'll at least get the numbers you need to have to greenlight a sequel or whatever, right? And to be honest, I'm sure that people have valid reasons for liking this, but it just doesn't do it for me.
No, and I think, like we've talked about before, it's the era of nostalgia, and a lot of these studios know that nostalgia is huge with our age bracket right now. So they're going to greenlight anything from the 80s. That's why we got another Ghostbusters. That's why we keep getting Star Wars. Like, it's the era of nostalgia.
They greenlit a sequel for Afterlife, eh?
Yeah, I saw that.
Cool.
I kind of assumed they would, but I can't see Bill Murray coming back for it.
No, I don't need the originals to be back for it. I liked the new cast, so like I don't need them. I mean, it was cool to see them, but I don't need them. That's for sure.
Give me more Paul Rudd, man. Paul Rudd and everything.
I could see
Paul Rudd should play
back. It seems like that was how they were setting it up. Like he was going to recruit a new team of Ghostbusters, and that's great. I mean, that'd be great for Ernie Hudson because he really got the shit end of the stick in the original Ghostbusters movie. He like lost more than half his appearances because they took him out. They changed his role in the movie, right? In the original.
Yeah.
He was supposed to play a way bigger part initially, and then he ended up just being the guy who's like, dude, I just need a job.
Well, just like fucking, what's his face? The guy that played Lando Calrissian in Batman.
Yep.
He played Two-Face in Batman, and he was supposed to come back for Batman Returns as Two-Face. They just wrote him out.
Fuck, why am I having a hard time remember his name right now?
God damn it. Why are we so bad with names?
I don't know. Billy D. Williams.
Yes.
Every time I think of Billy D. Williams, I think of Keegan, Michael Key, and he does like a great impression of he like I guess he like worked with Billy D. Williams or something, and he does like he does a great story talking about like him trying to like make a flight or something like that, so he has like a tight out on set or whatever, and he does this whole bit. It's fucking hilarious. It's so funny.
Great.
But anyway, Billy D, good old Billy D. Yeah, so Indiana Jones. I don't recommend it. Not for me.
Thumbs down. It does not get the approval of the Moose Mouth podcast. I'm sorry.
We do not approve.
But next week, we'll see. Toy Story 4 and Wonder Woman, at least for Matt, and possibly Into the Wild.
Yeah, hopefully both.
Well, if you don't have time, just pick one.
Tomorrow. I'm going to try to watch Wonder Woman tomorrow, I think. Kate's got a bunch of work she has to do, so I'm going to try to get Wonder Woman done tomorrow. So
crank it up if you can, because the soundtrack is fucking awesome to it.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah. Really good, really good soundtrack.
I mean, at the end of the day, I really like Gal Gadot. I don't have any attachment to Wonder Woman in any capacity. But I like Gal Gadot, so I just think she's like beautiful, so that's enough to keep me entertained.
Gorgeous.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to finally see it. It's like the one DC movie everyone's like, oh, that's actually like worth seeing.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good DC movie. Got Brooklyn Young in the chat says, I love your guys' collection in the back. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. And then he was supposed to be Two-Face for Batman Forever, but after he found out Tim Burton wasn't making it, he didn't join. Oh, okay, I'm mistaken there. I thought it was Batman Returns, but
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see what Batman Forever would have been if he would have came back to direct it, because that would have been a really different movie, I think. But
yeah,
I really like Wonder Woman, but 1984 was a pile of dog shit.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I probably won't watch. Even if I really like Wonder Woman, I probably won't fall victim to the sequel, because I just know how unwell received it's been. So
yeah, not good.
Yeah.
I think you'll like the first one.
What is that? Brooklyn Young? Is that what it is? Brooklyn Young? I think it said, how long have you guys been collecting? I've been collecting for 8 years, I think. Something like that. Somewhere around that. 8 years.
Yeah,
I mean, out of control. It's like this and that and all the way down.
It's wild, dude.
And in that cupboard on the top. That's figures too.
You're out of room, brother.
Yeah, buddy. And Ryan's been collecting Legos and shit for a year now?
Maybe not even? Yeah, about a year. I mean, I'm still piecing my collection together, but it was just a thing to do during quarantine for me. It was like I couldn't really go out much. There was not much to do. Everybody was locked down, so it was just something I could do from home, is sit there and build Lego and kind of chill and relax. So started collecting that stuff, and I don't know, 8 or 9 deep right now. Got a couple on order, so it'll be good.
Nice. There's so much good conversation. I love when there's good conversation, don't you?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, why is my thing not doing this? Go back.
Two-Face was considered for Batman Returns, but the movie changed a lot from the original idea to the final movie. Tim Burton... Oh, and Matt's gone. Tim Burton decided to leave Two-Face for a later movie. I definitely read that he changed the movie a lot, as it was, early drafts of it had Two-Face in it. But yeah, I wasn't sure that he was supposed to be in forever. So hopefully Matt comes back here. Let's see here. Or Matt just died, and we see the end of Matt. Oh no, he's back.
Happens.
It's all good, buddy.
I'm gonna stop touching my screen. I was trying to go back up to look at comments, and then I disappeared. I was like, oh
yeah. Robin was also in an early version of Batman Returns as well.
Oh, interesting.
I know they wanted to do Robin a lot, but they couldn't figure out exactly how to implement him and everything like that. And then when they did, it was terrible. So that's why they've been so hesitant to bring Robin into any of the future Batman movies, is they don't think the character is very compelling.
Easy to read name says Matt dies on live stream.
Yeah, no, if that ever happens, I'm still posting the episode just because it's going to get so many views.
Yeah, so many views. Brooklyn Young says, do you think Michael Keaton could play Batman today? He's going to. He's playing him in the Flash movie whenever that comes out. Did you see that Ezra Miller got arrested again?
No, I didn't see it. That Flash movie's never coming out.
Apparently he tried to start a fight with a police officer. Fucking idiot.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Dude, that movie is never coming out. Jesus Christ.
No,
they'll just recast him now. Seriously.
They're going to scrap it, I think. I don't know how you put that movie out and have him on the cover after all this shit. Like,
I agree.
To me, you either have to edit him out and like redo it, just him, like, I don't know, like face swap him out for another actor and redub all his lines, or you have to really, I don't know. I don't know what you do.
Versus the entire Hawaii population.
I'd watch that movie.
I'd also watch that movie. That'd be great. Imagine Flash goes back in time to stop Ezra Miller from getting into legal trouble.
How meta is that?
That'd be great. Fuck. That's great.
My dog's an asshole.
Yeah, you know, that's what happens. They're dogs.
Anyway, what else do we got? Anything we want to touch on before we end this?
No, I don't think so. There wasn't any nerd stuff that came out this week, was there? No trailers or anything? I want to go see Doctor Strange again.
I don't, but I usually don't go see a movie twice in theaters. Like, I'll wait until it comes out on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I think the next movie I want to definitely see is the Jurassic World movie. Yeah,
we're gonna do June. That one. We're gonna do that after our break. We're gonna take a little break in June because I'm away for the first couple weeks, then Ryan's away, and then when we get back, we'll catch up on Obi-Wan and Jurassic World 8 or whatever the fuck it is.
6. So apparently it's the last one. Chris Pratt said there's no more after this. So
yeah, I heard that too. So.
So that will be the plan. Well, next week we'll obviously cover the movies we talked about, and then the following week we'll do Obi-Wan, and then I think we'll be on a 3-week hiatus, which will be obviously the longest hiatus we've ever taken. We've only missed 1 week so far, but we just are both very busy in June, and it's just not going to work out. So
I'm like physically in the sky flying to the USA on one of the nights, and then the next week I'm in a wedding. So be able to do it.
I might pop on here and there just to chat, maybe do just like a live chat or something, and
there you go,
do some Lego or something like that. But we won't have any official episodes during that time. So
we'll make sure everyone's aware once we figure out the exact dates. But Brooklyn Young said, how do you guys feel about the new Doctor Strange movie? And then Easy to Read Name says, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Badness. That's mean. We talked about it already, but...
Last week's episode.
Yeah. But briefly.
Yeah. I thought it was fine. It's a solid 7 for me.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I think I needed to curb my expectations a bit. Yeah. I think if I could have gone in there with lower expectations, I would have came out with a better feeling about it, but I still liked it. Like, the thing I like about the newer MCU stuff, even though I know it's getting a lot of heat from fans who have been with it for a long time, is like, I like that the movies are starting to feel more like the comic books. Like, the stories are becoming weirder. They're not so safe anymore. Like, they've stopped worrying about, like, you know, does this like make sense in like realistic terms? Like, now it's just like, we're gonna just jump through some multiverses, and you know, it's like they've gone away from. It's funny because one of the podcasts, The Weekly Planet, that I listen to, they talked about how they're like, do you think that the people that live in the MCU are just like, oh yeah, it's an alien killing the city again. Totally cool. Let's go to get a beer or something. Like, it's just like, it's like it doesn't even faze them anymore. It's just like, oh, there's this giant squid monster attacking the city. Cool. What are we doing for lunch? Yeah. Like,
their cities have been so destroyed so many times now they just don't even care. I don't know. We're not going to dive into spoilers or anything for it. Like, if you want to hear our deep thoughts on it, just go check out last week's episode. You can get that on your podcast service of choice or YouTube or whatever. But it was fine. I mean, my biggest problem is the things we want, we're not getting, in my opinion. And it's like, I want X-Men so bad that I can taste it. And I just give me X-Men. Figure out your timeline. Tell me when the X-Men movie's coming out. And stop teasing me that like X-Men are going to be a part of this universe and then pull the rug out from underneath me because I'm getting tired of it.
Yeah, I don't really feel like we're getting teased, but like, and then when I say Brooklyn Young says I really don't think they're following the comics as much. By that I don't mean that they're mimicking the comics. By that I mean like they're
making it more comic booky.
Yeah, they're embracing the weirdness of the comic books. Like, it's like
they're not setting it in the real world anymore.
Exactly. It's just like, we're going to jump through some portals. And it's like, no one asks any questions. It's like, we're going to do portal jumping today? All right, cool. That's cool.
Yeah, like, if you go watch Iron Man, it's like set as realistically as it possibly could be in our universe, right? Like, it's a rich man that has the technology to build a suit that he can fly around in and fight bad guys. That's pretty realistic. Even, like, you know, Captain America and like Thor, there's realism involved in it where it's like, Thor is a god from another universe, but it's still based in somewhat of our reality where now it's just like anything goes, popping in and out of wormholes, you're going to different multiverses. Like, it's just way more comic booky, and, you know, death doesn't matter as much anymore because there's an alternate version of you somewhere else and so on and so forth. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but anyways,
I don't know. I liked it. I still liked it. I like it. I can appreciate the weird that they're trying to embrace. And while I do think that the stories aren't as compelling as they were in phase 3 and 2 and 3, I feel like a big part of that was because we knew where we were headed. And now that it seems like they're keeping that a bit closer to the chest, I feel like the stories don't feel like they run as deep, but I appreciate that they're embracing that weirdness that the comics brings. Like, I like that, right? And like, I don't need it to be comic accurate in the sense that it needs to tell the same story, because really at the end of the day, this universe isn't that universe. And it's like, to me, it's more like, I would be disappointed if going into every movie I knew what I was going to get. Like,
well, not just that, but
book, right?
Some of these comics are like 20, 30 years old that they're adapting the storyline from, or longer. So things don't hold up naturally through time, and you have to change it and adapt it to stuff that would work for today's audience and with today's technology and with today's, inclusiveness involved. Like, there's a lot of things that they made in like the 60s and 70s that if you looked at today, you're going to go, holy fuck, that's racist as shit, or whatever. It's, sexist, or whatever. And you have to shape and evolve these into the modern setting, and that's what they're doing. But I don't know, like, I think it's fine where it's going. I just need it to move faster, and I just want the timeline to stretch out more, where we know, all right, in 2024 we're getting an X-Men movie, we're getting a Fantastic Four. Like, I want to know their roadmap more than they're letting on, and I like to know what things are leading towards. And I feel like as of right now we're just kind of treading water, and we don't really know what it's really building towards, and that's my problem. But,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Do you guys think they're going to bring back the Avengers? I think in time, yes, but I don't think the next one will be for a while. I think because the thing is we can have an ensemble team that's not an Avengers, like it's like you said in the Doctor Strange thing we talked about last week. Minor spoilers, because I guess technically it was in the trailer, but we talked about, is Doctor Strange going to build an Illuminati, like a super group in the 616 timeline? Yeah. And it's like, maybe that's the next Avengers, even though it's not the Avengers, right? So
I think they're building towards the Young Avengers more than anything, but
yeah, me too. Which, to me, it's not, I don't really, I mean, I will watch everything that's MCU because I can appreciate the overarching story. But do I think I'm going to love Miss Marvel? No, I don't think so. Because I feel like it's playing to an audience that isn't me. And that's fine.
Totally.
But I'll still watch it, but I don't anticipate that I'm going to enjoy it. Same with Young Avengers. I don't really feel the need to see those two kids that play Wanda's kids be Avengers members. I don't need that. And I just don't care really. I'll watch it, but I don't really care. So,
but I could totally see that as being a Disney Plus movie and less of a movie, theater movie
or a series. Yeah. It'll be all those characters that were in series that will lead into a 2-part Disney Plus movie or something like that. So
yeah.
But yeah, whatever. We'll see what happens when we get to X-Men, because like I said before, it's that's what I'm mostly looking forward to is X-Men. And, I'll probably have more opinions on the changes they make to the source material when it's actually sourcing something that I have a love for. I don't care about Captain America, or Iron Man, or Hulk in the comics. I love them in the MCU, but I do not give a fuck about any of those characters in comic book form. And you can do whatever you need to do to make it work for cinematics, but as soon as you start changing stuff with those characters that I know and love, I might have a stronger opinion on it. So it's hard to say right now, but we'll see.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I mean, it's easy to judge other people being mad about not adapting their comics correctly when you don't care about that comic, but when it's something that's important to you, then it's, yeah. So I get why people get upset over those things, but
me too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've gone through a lot of bad X-Men movies, so.
Oh, buddy, haven't we?
Do you want to end it here?
Yeah, let's answer these last 2 questions. We got 2 more things. Easy to read name says, I hope the MCU can finally make a good Fantastic Four movie. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the Fantastic Four, so I don't honestly give a fuck. But I mean, if it's going to work in anybody's hands, it's going to be Feige's. So it's if Feige can't make it work, then that's just not meant for cinematics. It's just obviously not, right? But
no, I agree. It's going to come down to storytelling and who they cast as the leads. And if they can come up with a compelling story and the leads really sell the characters, then of course it's going to work. It'll work just like the Avengers worked. But you have to make sure that you have the story hammered out and it's compelling. It builds into the bigger universe of the MCU. And I have faith in Marvel and Kevin Feige, but Eternals was a miss. So who knows?
Yeah, you didn't like Eternals. I think Eternals is definitely one of the weaker Marvel movies for sure. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just whatever. I appreciated the stuff that it brought to the bigger picture, but ultimately it was just whatever. It was fine. So
yeah, it's
not one of the ones that I see myself. It's kind of like Thor 1 and Thor 2, where it's I can't imagine myself rewatching them, intentionally. Maybe if I do a full MCU rewatch somewhere down the line. But to be honest, at the rate that I watch movies and stuff, like, I just don't know. That's probably not going to happen. So,
yeah, I would put Eternals like bottom 5. I think it's right down there with Iron Man 2, Thor 2, and Black Panther for me. But yeah,
I don't agree
I
with
would
Black
put
Panther, but the others I would definitely agree with.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think, like, for me, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I ranked it somewhere in the mid tier, like 14, 15 out of the 28 or 29, whatever we're at. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Eternals, I didn't like. I think it was a finely made movie. It looked cool at parts, but like, I didn't find the characters overly compelling, and I thought the storyline was pretty boring. So
there's just a lot happening with a lot of characters all at once. It was just, it felt like forced and long. So
very long.
Yeah, Captain Marvel's another one I didn't love either. I loved the 90s nostalgicness of it, but that's the only thing that saved it. I'm also not a Brie Larson fan in any capacity, so she didn't do the movie any favors for me. So
I don't mind Brie Larson, but I didn't like the movie. I mean, I think it has moments that I really enjoyed, and I think it has MCU like storylines that could really make it compelling in the future. But the movie alone, like, in looking at it as a standalone movie, like, yeah, it's a weaker movie for sure. And outside of the 90s nostalgia, which is obviously important to me and Matt, but other than that, like, it didn't really do much. Like, Samuel L. Jackson couldn't even save that movie, which is saying a lot because he saves, everything. He made Snakes on the Plane worth seeing in theaters,
That's great. We can end it there. That's good. We're good.
All right. So if you're not already, follow Matt at Customs by Matthew on Instagram, and then go over to his YouTube channel and give him a follow there, because obviously he's doing awesome Wednesday night streams and interviewing people, and he's got all kinds of friends and stuff going on in streams with him. So it's
call
good
me
content.
Matthew Walters on 60/60 or 20 minutes. That's what I said. 20 minutes with.
You said both,
Walters.
but. Yeah, so follow him. You can follow me at Moose Milk Media on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel that you can see in my profile that has all the past episodes on it, or you can get all the previous episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast service you use. And all our podcast art is done by @JanieMilneArt on Instagram. So give her a follow as well, and we'll see you next week.
Adios, my friend.
See you, buddy.
Thanks for chatting, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.